shelter, food, and clothing, and so the Winter Sanctuary in its mission is to provide emergency shelter, but the bigger part of it is the advocacy piece and in that giving resources.
For most people, even if they had a drug problem or they lost their job or they had mental health issues, they need someone advocating for them. And so that's what we're trying to do at the shelter. Connect them to resources, build relationships with our guests, and help improve their life situation.
So when I say people have a lot of individual problems that they come with, it's figuring out what those issues or problems or challenges are and then providing them the resources to help them fix them, quote unquote, or alleviate them or even stop. If it's addiction, is to get them hooked up with addiction treatment resources.
When I was faced with having no place to go, what kept going through my mind was, where am I going to sleep tonight? What am I going to eat for the night? It was really hard to find people who I can go stay with even just for a night. I felt like a complete burden when I would ask people, hey, can I stay for a couple nights or even a night just to get out of the cold or something? Because I hate asking for help to begin with. And so that's when I started sleeping outside. It was really cold.
We don't know who's walking up and down Vine Street or driving up and down Vine Street because they have cars, who really is homeless. To look at me, you would never know that I had a period of my time where I was homeless.
Well, it's been a relief that knowing that they've been able to help us out so that we're not out on the streets. And because here, if you're out on the streets with children, they take your children away from you.
First thing you do is when you get here, you do your intake, of course.
But at intake, probably the most amazing thing for me is looking across the table at the guest, and they tell me their goals and their dreams, and I tell them I believe in them, and I can tell that they haven't been believed in a very long time by anyone.
I'll be honest, I did fail my drug test when I first came in because of me currently living at my grandpa's with my brother, my sister, and them doing all that. So I was honest. I have never set boundaries before. So it was really hard for me to start setting boundaries. And one of the things that I had to do to stay at the shelter was go to the Freedom Center. I wanted to have a job before the shelter closed, and then to have an apartment before the shelter closed. But you have to constantly keep working on yourself and pretty much trying to avoid temptation, because temptation's everywhere.
We're blessed to have the United Way funding to do the advocacy, which is, again, it's one thing to give them shelter, it's another to get them to where they need to be independent to be able to not have to stay at the shelter.
I'm not sure if I'm the only one or if this has happened to other people, but I got a job and an apartment in the exact same day, and I'm not sure how I managed that. But I came back to the shelter and I was so excited that I was crying happy tears. I have my own home, I have a job, and I'd been waiting for this forever because I've never had my own apartment before, and so this was all new.
Which is why we're so excited when we have one guest who's successful in a season or two, because that funding that helps pay for the advocacy and the resource giving and sharing is the best part of what they get.
Through Nahoko, I guess it's called, they'll help us get with the first month's rent, and so I'm looking to get into a place. I'm working 7 days a week now so I can get into a place.
Our ultimate goal is to end homelessness. We realize that that's a goal that may never be attained, but we see it beneficial to the community, connecting our guests to the resources in this community that can help lift them up. The resources in the community that can change their life.
And I do appreciate everything that they've done because it's putting a relief so this way I can go to work and not have to worry about where my family's going to be by the time I get off work,
With a lot of people supporting me and pushing me to better myself, that's how I had the confidence to do that.